Broadening your base. When you started at Amway, chances are you made a list of initial prospects from the people you know best: family, friends, and neighbors. This Amway Power Tip will help you broaden your customer base, will help you with fresh ideas on finding new customers, and you'll learn 3 techniques to grow your business. There's nothing complicated about finding new customers. It's a fundamental part of the selling process. Finding a customer typically has 2 phases. First, identify the prospect. Who can I sell this product to? The second phase is to qualify the prospect. Does this prospect want or need my product? We work from our own network of family, friends, neighbors, and co-workers, and use them as a base for new customers. We don't have to start from scratch. We can build from a solid base. And that's exactly what this power tip is about. How to expand your network of family and friends to find new customers for Amway products. The best way for this to happen is to thoroughly examine the network of people you started with. Your initial sales were probably the low-hanging fruit, the people you are closest to. At that point, you may have reached a plateau and stopped reaching out to new customers. Chances are you haven't begun to realize the full potential of your own network. The fact is, each of the people in your own network have their own networks. And by tapping into that expanded network, you can greatly broaden your own base of customers. Let's look at 3 ways you can broaden your base. Digging deeper into your own network, developing referral business, and making prospecting part of your daily routine. So, let's look at how you can dig deeper into your own network. The first step is to actually map your network. You may think you know your own personal network, but the truth is, there are probably a lot of people you don't consider until you actually lay it out on paper. And that's what you need to do. Draw out your network on paper. Start with those closest to you, your family. Then add your friends, then neighbors, then people at work. Before long, you'll have a very large tree of connections. This is an exercise you shouldn't gloss over quickly. Map out your network, put it away, and then come back to it and ask yourself, who am I missing? Who else do I know? A couple of iterations and you'll have a much larger network than you ever thought possible. And the best part is, you've just started. That's because every person has their own network. And that means every person you know has the potential of leading you to a lot more people and a lot more sales. For every person you sell to, that person has an entire network of additional family, friends, acquaintances, and all of them are potential customers. For example, you sold LOC to your aunt and she is pleased with the product. So, examine your aunt's network of people. Who are your aunt's friends? Who are her co-workers? Who are her neighbors? Every one of those people represent prospect possibilities for you. Or, you sold a skincare range product to your neighbor. Take a look at her network. Who are her friends? Who are her co-workers? Who are her family? And in this case, your networking could be product-driven. Does she also participate in a regular yoga session endeavor or sports club? Then, find out who is on her sports team or group. Every one of them is a prospect for you. Each of these examples show how there are hundreds of people who are legitimate prospects for selling Amway products and the business opportunity itself. Now, let's look at the second technique for broadening your base, closely tied to expanding your network, and that is referrals. Referrals are the lifeblood of a good business owner because they keep your sales efforts alive. Whereas in expanding your network, you yourself looked for additional prospects. With referrals, you have your customers do that job for you. Referrals are the single most effective way to get new prospects. The process is simple. A customer buys a product from you. The customer likes the product and then tells you that his neighbor would probably like the product also. And there you have it, a sales referral. Your original customer's recommendation can be very credible for you. He doesn't sell the product, but he stands by it. It's an independent third-party endorsement. Best of all, it's a way to open doors to new prospects. No need to cold call. Your customer has opened the door for you, and that new prospect is likely to be favorably inclined to the product. So, if referrals are so important, how do you get them? The key to getting referrals is to ask for them. That may sound obvious, but too often a sale is completed and the only reason a customer doesn't refer another prospect is that no one asks him or her to do it. Customers might give you a referral without asking, but that's a long shot. When you make a sale, ask that person if he or she has friends, family or co-workers who might also appreciate the product. Let's look a little closer at that asking process. When you ask for a referral, be specific. Don't just say, do you know anybody? Instead, ask, how about people you work with? And what family members can you think of? And I bet you have neighbors who would use this product. The more specific you are, the more you prompt your customer, the more and better referrals you are going to get. Referrals open the door to more business for you and introduce you to a new prospect. You should mention your mutual connection. Mention Amway and the product they are using. Describe how your customer suggested this person would benefit from the product. Ask if you can demonstrate the product or for an appointment to show the product. You can also suggest other products. Obviously, there will be some times when you don't get a referral from your customers. Maybe they honestly can't think of anybody. Maybe your relationship isn't that strong. There could be a number of reasons. It's not a problem. The important thing to remember is, no doesn't necessarily mean no forever. You will continue to sell products to this customer, so you can continue to ask for referrals. The key is to always let them know you are on the lookout for additional prospects, and you'll always be interested in any names they might be able to come up with. Of course, the same persistency applies to referrals who might not buy from you the first time. Just because they did buy from you right away doesn't mean they will never buy from you. The time may not have been right. They may eventually be interested in other products. Keep their information and re-contact them later. Persistency is the hallmark of a good business owner. So far, we've talked about prospecting by mapping out your own network and finding ways to expand it, and by finding prospects through referrals. Now let's look at a third-party method of prospecting, which is making prospecting part of your daily routine. In fact, here's a quote which sums up this strategy. Sales prospecting is not an event, it's a way of life. What that means is that you should make sales prospecting part of your daily routine, everything you do. You don't set aside an hour a day to do prospecting. You do prospecting from the moment you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night. And that starts with visibility. A good way to let people know about Amway is to use as many products as you can in front of people. One Amway business owner makes a point to use G&H lotion in public every chance she gets. The product itself becomes a natural conversation starter. What's that you're using? It's a glycerin and honey lotion from Amway. I find it keeps my hands from getting dry. Yeah, why don't you try some? Nothing could be a more natural introduction to Amway and the world of products you sell. The point is, the more you can incorporate Amway into your daily routine, the more naturally you can introduce products to people where they live. These kinds of natural introductions take away people's normal resistance to actual selling situations. You are able to introduce products and their advantages as part of people's daily lives and routines. and you can gain new customers without even having to make a formal sales appointment. Remember, prospecting is not an event, it's a way of life. So, in summary, you can broaden your sales base by mapping your personal network and find other prospects through your friends and acquaintances and expanding to their friends and acquaintances. You can identify by asking for referrals and by being specific and persistent. And finally, you can make prospecting a part of your daily routine. You'll grow your network and grow your business and grow your profits. Good luck.